set. Fastball misses upstairs for ball one.
Yeah, Gurriel has had an outstanding freshman campaign for LSU so far. I mean, you see him 6'2", 182-pounder. Comes in hitting .434, 19 RBIs on the year. And how about this? He has reached base safely in every game so far this year for LSU.
Well, that's setting the table at the top right there.
Yeah, I mean, look, we talk about this in the SEC. There's very few freshmen in the SEC that can come in right away and make a difference.
Yep.
Especially go to the top of a lineup. It is very unusual, but the kid, you know, his understanding of the strike zone, you look at the on-base percentage, he leads the SEC in walks, and that's why he's sitting at the top of this LSU lineup.
In there for a strike right at the top of the zone. Count evens at 1-1. Interesting. At a lefty-lefty matchup to start the game, we have the shift on by Texas defensively.
Yeah, and you're talking about a kid that doesn't have a ton of at-bats. Just in his freshman campaign.
Fastball foul back. Spencer out in front now, 1-2.
Yeah, that pitch at 95, so serious velo right now from Jared Spencer. Transferred in from Indiana State, as we mentioned earlier. Had a good year at Indiana State last year. Went 6-0, was undefeated with an ERA just right at 4. But, man, he can strike you out. 72 punch-outs last year in just 53 innings, and he's doing it again this year. 36 of them coming in just 26 2/3.
Borba over on the right-hand side, the third baseman. This ball fouled off down the left field line and back out of play. Not only the shift now, you got the third baseman over. I guess you scored that on a ground ball to Borba, who's playing third base but playing at second right now. Do you call that 5/4 + 3 or what? How do you just put that in your scorebook?
You're supposed to put it 5-4. I just have a hard time doing it. And when it goes over there, I'm putting 4-3 because that's where you hit the ball.
Yes, that's exactly right. Glad you're with us. Just underway here from Austin. Cutter misses outside. It's hard to describe the breaking ball for Spencer. Sometimes he might get a little more spin to it, but it is so firm. To me, it's a cutter.
They say it's more of a bullet spin slider, and what that means is it has more vertical break to it, more downward action. You know, your typical slider's got a little bit of vertical and a little bit of horizontal in it. And then you've got the sweeper that is mostly all horizontal. This is more what they call bullet spin, which means it just kind of goes straight down.
Just gets a piece of it, keeps the at-bat alive. Right off the bat, we got a battle right here. Swing and misses.
Yeah, out of the zone. And that's what he does. He gets ahead and he can expand that zone with that high velocity fastball. He can push it up when he needs to. Now, he's got 2 fastballs. He'll throw the 4-seam fastball and a 2-seamer as well. 8th pitch of the at-bat coming. And a good solid at-bat right here to start the ball game. Well, this is kind of what LSU does to you, right? I mean, you look 3rd in the SEC in walks. They walk a lot. You look at on-base percentage. They're 3rd in the country. They can do a little bit of everything, and what they do is they're going to make the opposing pitchers throw strikes. They will take their walks, and they're very good at getting on base. Long pause, 3-2 again, upstairs, and an excellent bat to start the ball game. 9 pitches and earns a walk. And that almost looked like an off-speed pitch, almost like a changeup from Spencer right there. That surprised me, 3-2. Leadoff base runner. Jared Jones will step in. Jones, big, strong right-handed hitter. We were down on the field for BP and saw him walk by. This is a large young man. Yeah, he fills up the batter's box. I mean, there's not much room, maybe for a gnat or 2 in there in that batter's box, but he is a large human. And boy, he had a monster year for LSU last year. 28 long balls. That was 4th best in the SEC. And he was a little bit slow getting started this year. He only had 2 home runs through his first 13 games, but he's hit 6 home runs in his last 9 games, so he is certainly picking up the long ball pace. Hits the inside corner with a changeup. You don't want to leave it there. It was good. You fool the hitter with the velocity bend, but you don't want to leave that ball in middle end. Yeah, he placed that one perfectly right on the inside edge. And now you're the 0-2 count, so you don't have to throw a strike to get it out if you're Spencer. Throws over. Back in safely. Yeah, like last year, LSU not running much. They only stole 39 bases last year. They do have 20 this year, but that's 14th best out of 16 teams in the SEC. Spencer set.
checks the runner. It's that cutter in under the hands for the strikeout.
Boy, and you're right. That is a hard cutter. That one at 90 miles an hour, and that's how you do it right there. 0-2 count, 1-2 count. You want to throw something that starts in the zone, but that was a perfect pitch. Started in the zone, and as it traveled towards home plate, it disappears down and in and just underneath the bat of Jarrett Jones.
I like to hit and could hit. I wouldn't want to face that regular.
That's not fair.
That is not
fair. You could tell the way Jones swung it, and that's a guy that was hitting 424 coming in.
Dickinson steps in. Daniel on the right side. First pitch in there for a strike. 6 foot, 200-pound junior transfer, Utah Valley.
Yeah, had a
Washington
big year.
native.
Big year at Utah Valley last year. 18 homers, stole 32 bases.
It's off to a good start this year. 6 homers, he's driven in 28.
Yeah, Jay Johnson gave him the number 14 because he said, "You remind me of Charlie Hustle, Pete Rose." He said, "The way you play the game wide open, he plays it like his hair is on fire." He said, "I'm going to give you number 14," and Dickinson took it and ran with it.
Over the top of the cutter. And it's 1-2.
Anything turned that fast, Keith Bourne ought to have a blinker on it. I mean, that thing is on the inside part of the zone, and it just disappears.
And it's going away from that barrel. The 1-2. Comes right back with it, Ben.
Why not? I mean, keep throwing it until they show you they can hit it. And right now, LSU not sniffing this pitch right here. And it's got that late, you talk about that bullet spin, it's got that late break. It looks like a four-seam fastball coming in there, and you go to get it, and it just runs away from the barrel.
Ethan Fry will step in, the DH. 6'6", 225-pound junior. Louisiana native. Long pause again, and throw over. See the numbers on the year. On the right side, he's been really good against left-handed pitching.
Yeah, and that's what Jay Johnson can do to you. He can match you up and try to grab the platoon advantage. And you'll see Ethan Fry, he'll play mostly against the left-handers, and then all of a sudden when a right-handed pitcher comes in, you could see somebody totally different, like a Jake Brown come in for Ethan Fry.
You know, depth is going to be important when you get into a 30-game conference schedule in the SEC.
No doubt. I mean, that's what that's what he prides himself on his offense this year. And it is a much improved offense from what it was last year. We talked about this, me and you did before the game. LSU's offense last year was 111th out of 300 teams nationally. And this year they come in scoring over 10 runs per game. They are third best in the entire country in runs per game.
Yeah, and offense is about scoring runs. That's it. I mean, you can say, yeah, this got a great average. But it still comes down to this swing and a miss on a good heater. But, Ben, scoring runs is what an offense is.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter how you do it. I mean, LSU's relied a lot on the long ball the last couple years. Not so much this year. Home runs are down a little bit, but what is up is sacrifice bunts are up, hitting runners in scoring position, 1 through 9, pressuring you up. That's what they've been able to do so far this year. Now, I'll say this about LSU. The schedule has not been great to this point, and this is their first true test. And you can see the numbers the last couple of years. You see the home run production in 25 down just a little bit, but they're not striking out nearly as much. They're walking a little bit more. So, as you mentioned, there are different ways to score runs.
Change up in a 2-1 count.
Yeah, that's a difference maker. Anytime, I don't care what level you play out, anytime you get yourself as a pitcher in a fastball count and you're able to land something other than a fastball, that's when the game starts to change a little bit.
The 2-2. That's in the dirt. Gets away from Galvan and down to scoring position on the wild pitch. Couldn't get in front of that. Bounces off the turf. Everything here at UFCU Disch-Falk Field is turf other than the pitcher's mound. So sometimes balls in the dirt are a little bit different to block, a little bit different to get your body in front of.
And you were telling me this infield plays a little bit slower than most turf fields do. So that's an adjustment for infielders too.
The payoff. Upstairs, second walk of the frame to go with 2 strikeouts. Something working here for the Tigers.
The letter number 4 is the shortstop.
2 walks, 2 strikeouts. Welcome to baseball in 2025.
Boy, it is true. It is true.
I said this many years ago and people laughed, but I felt like I said, you know, it feels like 2 ground balls and a pop-up all of a sudden was a bad inning for a pitcher. It's like we got to walk 2, we got to punch out 2, we got to throw 25 pitches in an inning, but that's where we are now, man. We're max effort, we're wide open, we're spinning it and trying to create shapes and velo and all those things. That's just where we are because velocity is king. It always has been king, and that's kind of where we are now.
I was a guy with 2 strikes. I'm going to hit it to right field and drive the run in from second.
Right.
You know, now 2 strikes, you're still thinking about going deep. The 0-1. Good cutter. We're going to say that a lot because it's a good one.
It is a really good one. I heard a lot about it. Now I'm seeing it for the first time, and I see why it is such a good pitch. Look at the numbers on your opponent's only hitting 146 off of that cutter of Jarrett Spencer's. Now, they hit the fastball pretty well so far this year. Opponent's hitting 319 off the fastball.
The 0-2. Right back with it. Strikes out the side. Max Ballou, though, reigning Big 12 Player of the Year, obviously now in the SEC. And when you look at him, he is one of those explosive players. But the guy that's made this really go is at the top is Ethan Mendoza, is one of those other guys. Those 2 guys at the top, main part of this offense, Ben.
And that offense will face the sophomore left-hander, Cade Anderson. You talk about having a really good year. Makes a transition from a bullpen guy last year in his freshman year into that Friday night road. You see he's out of Madisonville, Louisiana, about 45 minutes east of Baton Rouge. And I tell you what, he has not disappointed this year. 4-0, look at the ERA. How about the whip? And 48 punch-outs, 8 walks. That will play every day of the week and twice on Sunday. The slider's the key for him. It's kind of the new pitch. It's the most used secondary pitch. Didn't throw it last year, but he loves it. He'll work it inside to the right-handers. And, of course, he changed the grip on his changeup as well. A little bit more consistent with that as well.
Yeah, now in today's world, you got to have a pitch con, and obviously maybe came out of the dugout without it. And now they're trying to find a communication device where they can give the pitches. You know, remember when it was pitcher and catcher, Ben?
Whatever happened to if I put a 1 down, you throw the fastball.
Yeah.
If I put a 2 down, spin it a little bit. And if I wiggle my fingers, just take a little bit off.
Yeah.
Those days are gone.
Those days are gone. And they say it speeds the game up, and I don't know about that. But
well, we're not off to a good start for speeding the game up.
oh no, 20. I mean, just look at what Cade Anderson's done this season. And Ben, like you said, his spin rate is so good. I hate to use that term. I'm an old school guy. His fastball's got some hop to it.
Yep, it's got some carry through the zone, you know, and he'll push up 94, 95, but he's going to pitch 92, 93. The command's been really good so far this year. It's a 4-pitch mix. It's fastball, slider, changeup, and he'll throw an occasional curveball as well. But he's had the strikeout pitch working. I tell you what, his last 3 starts, Keith, he's in double digits in strikeouts in each of his last 3 starts.
Sophomore from Bedford, Texas, South Carolina, transfer from Arizona State. Longhorns second baseman Mendoza will step in. Boy, he has been outstanding at the top of this order for the Longhorns this season. In their first strike, and the count evens at 1-1. Butts through it, actually gets a piece of it.
Yeah, that got a piece of Luis Hernandez behind home plate as well. You've been there before.
Yeah.
That is not a good feeling, I wouldn't think.
Yeah, a little professional courtesy here. You give it time. You just cannot catch your breath.
No.
That's just what happens. You just can't catch your breath.
When you get hit below the equator, you can forget about it.
It's not fun. I'm telling you. Set to go now. Anderson ahead 1-2. Mendoza steps back in. Lays off a breaking ball. That's that slider you were talking about right there.
Yeah, he tinkered with the slider last year is what the pitching coach for LSU told me, Nate Yeske. He just never was confident enough to bring it into a ball game. Worked hard in the fall, started to develop it, got a feel for it, and now he's actually using it more than any other secondary pitch.
Ball foul back out of play.
It's a pretty good mix, though. I mean, fastball 51% of the time, slider so far this year 21% of the time, and then 18%, 10% with the changeup and the curveball. So it's a real 4-pitch mix.
Yeah, I mean, with fastball just at 50%, I mean, there's a lot of people use the fastball a lot more than 50%.
And look, he's a draftable sophomore, too. And right now, a lot like Ballou out in right field for Texas, I mean, he is a guy that could be a second-round pick this year. It's kind of where he's projected to go.
The appeal, did he go? He did not. Mendoza able to hold it.
Did he go?
Ooh, yeah. You and I both agree he did.
I know one thing. If I'm standing on that bumper, I want that one. Because if he'd have hit it, it might have been a double.
Well, if I was catching you behind the plate, I'd be yelling for it too. Foul back, and another leadoff hitter is going to get a deep at-bat here. 8th pitch of the at-bat coming.
One thing you know about Jim Schlossnagle, head coach for Texas now, is that you go back and look, each of the last 4 years, no matter where he's been, his teams pitches per plate appearances, #1 in college baseball. Like that's what he teaches over there. It's like, we want to see a lot of pitches. We want to get the pitch count up. That's kind of what Texas philosophy is now with Jim Schlossnagle.
Skied out to center for the first out of the inning. Sun has gone away here. Usually evening games start a little earlier than this. Right field is a very good sun field, but the light's in full effect now. Wind has started. Right here, it's twilight.
Yeah, Chris Stanfield, I don't know if he saw that ball that well. You're right, it's a tough sky. You see the way he caught that ball?
It didn't look like he was real confident in the way he caught it. Max Ballou steps in, the junior from Aledo, Texas, Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex area. Longhorn right fielder will step in. Big swing around. Hernandez caught the worst of that as the barrel of the bat on the backswing caught Hernandez. That's why they wear that helmet now, which is a smart idea.
Yes, it is. Yeah, watch this follow through. Ball's kind of up and in. Got the glove.
Roller up the left side, Ballou trying to get down the line. In there with an infield hit. And the first base runner of the game for Texas.
Yeah, Schiff was on big time for LSU. And Michael Braswell, you see where he's played. He's playing the shortstop position. Pencil in at third, and he is playing deep, and he comes in doing all he can do. But Max Ballou can get down the line, and he beats that out for an infield single.
Well, Braswell has played a lot of short, so he played it perfectly, just not in time. Jalen Flores, the junior from San Antonio, will step in, the Longhorn shortstop. They're going to call a strike on Flores. He did not get in the box quick enough. And I think that is strike one.
Yes,
so it's 0-1 to Flores. Fastball misses outside, and the count evens at 1-1. They play Flores to pull in the infield, straight away and deep in the outfield. The 1-1. Quick throw over.
Well, this is a Longhorn team, 17-2 on the year, and you talk about making a statement. They made a statement last weekend, winning to Mississippi State, a very tough place to play. Not only do you win the series, you sweep the series at Mississippi State.
Well, they got great clutch hitting in that series. And clutch pitching, like you said, against an offense in a ballpark. Gorgeous, by the way, ballpark, but ball does carry there.
Yes, it does carry, and the pitching was really good. That's kind of been the strength for Texas this year. I mean, you look at the offense, 13th runs per game out of 16 teams in the SEC. Now, I think it's going to get better than that. I think they'll move up more to the middle of the pack as the season goes forward. But, boy, the pitching has been outstanding. 10th best pitching staff in all of college baseball.
Throw over again, and Ballou back in safely. 1-2 to Flores. Hit hard down the left field line, but hooked foul. out of play.
First big curveball of the night so far by Cade Anderson. It's been fastball, slider heavy. There's your first traditional breaking ball.
Was there a pattern that you tried to use, Ben, when in a pitch selection as a pitcher?
First time through the lineup, I didn't want to show you everything I had unless I just had to get out of a jam. Then you're wide open and you're max effort at that point. But if I could navigate the lineup the first time and maybe save a pitch or two, because the idea, years ago, and I think it still should be the idea today, is I don't want to get through the lineup once or twice. I want to try to get through the lineup 3 times if I can, especially for your Friday night guys, because your Friday night guys are the tone setters. And if you can go deep as a Friday night guy, you save those bullets in the bullpen for game 2 and game 3. But if I only go 5 innings in game 1, now I'm starting to stress my bullpen for the back end. And so that's why it's so important to have your horses on the mound on Friday nights to give you length, and that's what you need.
Foul tipped, held on for the strikeout, the first of the night for the left-hander.
Cade Anderson came in with 48 of those, make it 49 now. And you talked about that fastball. We've seen up to 95 tonight, but it's got that cop. It's got that carry through the zone. And back when me and you were playing it back in the day, I used to hear y'all come back dugout and go, man, the ball kind of jumps like it explodes. Well, now we know what that means. It's a high spin rate fastball, which means it just has that extra carry through the zone. Gravity doesn't affect it as much, and that's what Cade Anderson has. He doesn't throw any 2-seamers. He's not about sinking the fastball. He's going to ride that 4-seamer up just about belt high is where he wants to put it.
And you see it so well, Ben, as a hitter, and I think, I can get on top of that, and you can't.
Right. You think you can, but your eyes deceive you where it is. I remember talking to Alex Bregman some years ago when he came back to LSU, and I said, okay, when you're facing a Justin Verlander who has that extreme hop on the fastball, what is your approach off of it? He said, believe it or not, I'm trying to hit a ground ball. I want to get where I think the ball is. I'm actually swinging to the top part of the ball because I know my eyes are deceiving me. So that's kind of where we are now.
Challenged him with that heater to Galvan, a junior from Sinton, Texas, down along the Texas coast. Has really been hot. Off to a fantastic start. Leads the Longhorns in homers.
Ooh, 96. That's a lot of velo for Anderson.
That's quickly 0-2 to Galvan.
We got 2 dudes on the bump tonight. I mean, 2 left-handers, both of them up to 96 so far.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night there.
This is kind of like good old-fashioned.
Hanging off the rafters here, and a 0-0 ball game. 25-pitch first inning for Jared Spencer, Ben, and he comes back out facing 6, 7, and 8 here.
Yeah, he needs a pretty quick inning right here. 25 is a lot. Of course, the idea for him is like it is for any Friday night guy, length.
Christian steps in, West Monroe, Louisiana senior. Right fielder from the left side in a lefty-lefty matchup. This is outside, 1-1. Sometimes, Ben, I've seen left-handed pitchers that have this good cutter that struggle sometimes facing left-handed hitters.
Yeah.
The 1-1. Rifle back up the middle on the fastball. And a leadoff base runner for the Tigers.
Yeah, Josh Pearson in his 4th year at LSU, but he's one of those guys that Jay Johnson trusts facing lefties. Lefty on lefty, and he just turns this back around and hits it right back from whence it came. Just a bullet right back up the middle. A good start for LSU in the top of the 2nd.
How about these 2 guys?
They ought to know each other pretty well.
They know each other.
Teammates last year at Indiana State.
Hernandez steps in. Squares the bunt. Good bunt out in front. Plays to first base. Little sacrifice. Goes 1-3 if you're scoring. And into scoring position.
And that's kind of what's different for LSU this year versus the previous couple years. You wouldn't typically see a sacrifice bunt in the 2nd inning of a ballgame, especially for a guy at Indiana State last year that hit 23 home runs, did Hernandez.
Head coach out to talk. Stanfield in the on-deck circle. Braswell will step in. Just pitch in there for a strike. Georgia native, 6'2", 210-pound right-handed hitter. Cutter in on the hands. And it's quickly 0-2.
And I love the way that Spencer's tunneling that ball, right? So he's throwing that 95-mile-an-hour heater right in on the inside part of the plate, and he comes right back with that cutter. Looks like the same pitch out of the hand, starts it in the exact same spot. The difference is a little bit slower, and it's got that hard movement kind of going left to right and getting it right underneath the bats of the right-handed hitters. That is a deadly combination if you can execute it.
The 0-2. Fouled off right side. Back out of play. Well, as darkness starts to set in here in Austin, we said this wind would lay down, and it's really starting to lay down. And once that happens in this ballpark, this becomes one of the bigger ballparks in the SEC.
Yeah, I think to say, if you go around the SEC, this may be the best ballpark to pitch in. As you said, the infield turf a little bit slower. Of course, you got some room in the outfield. Ball doesn't carry quite as good.
There's that changeup again. He's wanting to work on that. He's struggled with the location of it right now. 2-2, actually 1-2, excuse me.
It's been a good pitch for him, though. He's not giving up a base hit yet this year on a changeup.
Skied to center. Gasparino has a beat on it. Fakes the tag. 2 outs and a runner in scoring position. Stanfield will come to the plate. Tiger center fielder. 6'2", 195-pound junior. Transferred in from Auburn University. Florida native. Tallahassee as he steps in.
Yeah, Jared Spencer, last time out was last Friday night against Mississippi State. Went 5 2/3, gave up 5 runs, only walked one, struck out 7, threw a season high 91 pitches. There's a good changeup.
Yeah, I think that's going to be an important pitch for him. See the numbers in his last start. The 0-2. Comes back, catches the outside corner for the strikeout. LSU threatens come up in competing for the title. That will be Saturday, right here on the SEC Network. Don't forget, 2024 national champion is LSU in that.
That's right.
First evening session.
First national championship ever for the gymnastics squad at LSU.
Adrian Rodriguez, freshman from Flower Mound, steps in, moved down in the order a little bit to the 5th spot in the order. Got off to a red-hot start, has struggled over these last 6 to 8 ball games, moving down in the lineup, but ahead in the count, 3-0. Switch hitter from the right side. Pitch in there for a strike, and it's 3-1. Anderson pitches from the extreme left-hand side of the rubber, their third base side. 3-1 breaking ball in there for a strike.
Now there's that new pitch, that slider of his. And we talked about it. I mean, he is not afraid to throw that pitch just about in any count, any situation. 3-1, you think you're getting a heater, right? Instead, he bends that little backdoor slider in there.
And the payoff now. Fouled off right side. You know what that does to you as a hitter? All of a sudden, I can no longer, I'm not saying guess, Ben. I'm going to say I can't anticipate as a hitter. Because you work counts to hitter to say, all right, I'm looking for this pitch, this speed, this spot.
Right. I don't know if there's anything. I know in Major League Baseball the last 4 years, there's no such thing as a fastball count anymore.
No,
we're throwing more off-speed pitches than we are fastballs at the big league level now.
To short, up with it, across the diamond. It's the way the bottom of the second starts. Oh, I agree with you. I watch a lot, watch your Orioles and other teams, and I think, you know, I used to work to get this count. But
yeah.
That doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to get what I thought I was going to get. Kimball Schuessler, senior, grad student from Llano, Texas, about 70 miles west of here. As he steps in, Longhorn first baseman. Good off speed in there for a strike.
Really good changeup by Anderson there. You know, and Schlusser's one of those guys, he goes up there and looks for that first pitch heater. And, of course, you know the scouting report is a pitcher, so Cade Anderson just takes a little bit off.
He's found a groove right now. Everything with a purpose and hitting his spots. 30th pitch of the game coming.
That's what I like to watch. I like to watch where the catcher has the glove and see how close the pitcher comes to hitting that particular spot. That's how you really know if a pitcher's on his game or not.
This is outside. Boy, it becomes it as an ex-catcher. And I can tell you, it becomes a really fun game when you get everybody in this flow, in this circle.
Right.
We're all working together. Foul ball, nice play up against the wall. What a nice job by Jones to secure that baseball. That ball came back to the field of play. It was a basket catch, but a good one.
Yeah, Jared Jones 3 years ago came to LSU as a catcher, and they quickly realized he was probably outgrown that position as big as he is, so they moved him over to first base, and he has worked extremely hard on his defense the last couple of years.
Well, that's a fine play right there. He secured it as he was going against the fence. I love how he turned his body where he could keep the ball off of the fence. Casey Borber will step in. Sophomore. California native. Longhorn third baseman. First pitch misses outside for ball one.
This is an LSU defense that has been on point so far this year, coming fielding 981 as a team.
That's a good number.
Yeah, you start getting 980 and above, and it is really, really good, especially for college baseball.
Right side, back out of play, count evens. Anderson continues with a good mix, using all 4 of his pitches.
See that defense for LSU, see how much better they are this year versus last year. They struggled on defense early. Now, they got it going defensively toward the end of the year last year. The defense has been really good. Daniel Dickerson has made that was a big question. Could Stephen Milam go from the second base position over to shortstop to where he is right now? Because they questioned the arm strength to play shortstop. There he is right there. As far as his agility, he is really good. He can move, but they questioned the arm strength. Could he get the ball over from the hole? So far this year, he's shown that he's been able to do it. And what he does he gets to the ball very quickly, and it's in and out of the glove. And that's how he makes up for maybe not having a cannon of an arm, but he can get it in and out and over to first base very quick.
Gets a piece of it, keeps the at bat alive. That slider. Got to drop it on his back foot. Borba able to keep the at bat alive.
Yeah, Cade Anderson's last time out was last Friday against Missouri. Won a career high 6 1/3, struck out 11, only walked 2, did give up 3 runs in that game, but he threw a season high pitches as well. He threw 95 pitches last Friday night.
Swing and a miss for the strikeout, the 3rd of the game. Anderson hook up in what is the first ever SEC home conference game for Texas, and it comes up here in March. I think a lot of people in Texas have been looking forward to this for a long time.
Yeah. Well, this is where you find out kind of where you are. Neither one of these teams have played big-time schedules to this point, although Texas swept Mississippi State last weekend, which was a huge weekend. But now after these 3 games, and the dust settles on these 3 games, you can kind of find out where you are.
Count evens at 1-1. 40th pitch of the game for the Texas left-hander.
The SEC is loaded again. What is it, 12 teams? 12 out of 16 are currently in the top 25.
I mean, there's not an off weekend.
No, I mean, there was a time many years ago that maybe you could face certain programs and maybe bring your B game and still win the series. You can't do that anymore. Like, you got to be on point every weekend or you're going to get your feelings hurt.
The 1-2. Cutter misses outside. Count evens at 2-2.
But what I love about this 30-game grind is it prepares you for the postseason, right? I mean, once you finish this 30-game grind right here, when you get to postseason play, you're not going to see anything that you haven't seen before. No matter if it's great hitting, great pitching, great defense, you've seen the best of the best already.
Chop foul at the plate. And I think you'll see the depth. I think that's the other part for me is the depth of the bullpens. They keep coming, arms keep coming out of the bullpen, and they're running it up there in the mid-90s.
Yeah.
Two and two. Good hack fouls that ball straight back. It was like he was trying to go to left field with that.
Well, that's what's kind of made Curiel so special for LSU. And another reason why Jay's got to hit him at the top of the lineup. Obviously, he takes a lot of pitches. He gets on base, but he will use the backside of the field. You go back and look at his base hits. He's got as many base hits up the middle to the backside of the field as he does to the pull side.
The 2-2 again. Catches the outside corner. Dynamite pitch there for the strikeout. The 5th of the ball game for Jared Spencer.
I mean, I don't know if you can throw a breaking ball any better than that. Just paints on the outside part of the plate. You can see where Galvan is set up to catch it for Texas. He wants it right on the outside edge, exactly where it is delivered. And another punch out for Jared Spencer.
So Jones will step in. A threat every time he steps in the box. 8 big flies already this season. He's driven in 34. Fastball misses upstairs for ball 1. Strikeout victim his first time up. Upstairs, and it's 2-0. Hitters count now. Misses outside. A leadoff walk to start the game. Since then, well, you also had the walk of Fry, so did not walk a batter in the second.
Yeah, and careful here. Don't think Jared Jones doesn't have the green light on a 3-0 count, because he does. Smart pitch right there, huh? Took
He was
a little
hitting,
bit off.
but he was hitting. You saw it. I can see.
And Jared Spencer knew he was hitting too. 3-0 count, you think you're getting that fastball, right? But he just takes a little bit off, just dots a changeup right at the bottom of the zone.
The 3-1. Off of the fist, muscled into left field for a 1-out single. That just shows you the strength of Jones.
Yeah. I mean, that ball, if that was a wood bat, it would have went in about 3 or 4 pieces right there in the infield. But boy, he gets those hands in tight to the body and figures out a way just to muscle it right by the third baseman, Borba.
The Longhorns at double play depth now in the infield. Dickinson will step in. Strikeout victim his first time up. Drag bunt, good one. If it stays fair, it's a knock, but Galvan does a nice job to get it in foul territory. That was a base hit if it stays fair.
I think Daniel Dickinson read the third baseman Borba and saw Borba playing back. So you know what, you're going to play back. I'm going to lay one down. And Dickinson has done that a few times this year for LSU.
When you're facing guys that are, again, we use the term in college baseball Friday night, but number ones, if you're thinking of the next level, if you're a fan of Major League Baseball, there's guys at the number one. They're going to opening day type of guys. A run is huge anytime, any way you can get it.
Especially the first run of the game. You know, it takes a little bit of pressure off of you. Another good slider, just down and in. Check swing, looked like he foul tipped that ball. He did.
Yeah, I think he checked his swing, but it got part of the bat, didn't it? The 0-2. That hit him. That's a real break right there.
Yeah, those are the aggravating ones if you're on the bump. You work so hard to get ahead in the count, work so hard to get 0-2. Just kind of overcooked it and got on the elbow of Dickerson, so first and second and just one out for the Tigers.
Pitch count up over 50. 52 to be exact. As Fry steps in, walked his first time up. Downstairs with the fastball. And it's 1-0.
Ethan Fry, only 36 at-bats going in this game for LSU, but he's got 4 long balls in those 36 at-bats. A couple of homers in a midweek game for LSU.
Change up in there for a strike. Count evens at 1-1. Getting a little better feel for that change.
Now, I tell you, he's using it a little bit more than what he has so far this year. He only throws that pitch going into the game about 10% of the time, but it feels like he's landing on that pitch a little bit more than what he typically does.
Double play depth are the Longhorns. The 1-1 delivery. Come right back with it. Missed inside. And it's 2-1. Stressful pitches right now. The 2-1. Borba's only play is to first. Everybody moves up 90 feet. Borba to Schussler, and there's 2 gone.
LSU 0 for 4 so far tonight, runners in scoring position. They've been really good in that department so far this year, but not so far tonight.
Tough out right here, comes to the plate. Alamo steps in. First pitch downstairs in the dirt. Calvin able to block it. And it's 1-0. Does an open base mean anything here with the left-handed hitter awaiting on deck?
Yeah, I would think so. I think you'd be more careful. The problem is Pearson got a really good base hit right back up the box. But still, I like the lefty-on-lefty matchup than I do lefty-on-righty matchup. And Stephen Milam in his second year at LSU has come up with some big hits.
Chopper, Borba, tough play, picked on the other end by Schussler to end the inning.